بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ومن أظلم ممن منع مساجد الله أن يذكر فيها اسمه وسعى في خرابها أولئك ما كان لهم أن يدخلوها إلا خائفين لهم في الدنيا خزي ولهم في الآخرة عذاب عظيم. صدق الله العظيم. So firstly, salam to all my brothers who are here and to sisters who are listening from home. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We have been very fortunate of building so many masajid, so many masjids across the whole of the country, so many darul rooms and places of learning. And we're very, very fortunate to have this opportunity, and we're in a very wealthy part of the world. Alhamdulillah. And if those of our fathers that came here in the 60s, came here in the 50s, they witnessed a world without any masajid. They witnessed without any masjid for about 12 miles, 15 miles, 20 miles, they had to travel. And it was very difficult for them to even pray Jumu'ah. It used to be in a small house somewhere. Sometimes they used to, there's stories of them doing wudu with snow, just to get, there's the taps all, the water's frozen inside the building, in a little house. Those are the kind of conditions our fathers came to in this country. Today, alhamdulillah, in every quarter mile, less than a quarter mile, you've got several masajid in the Muslim communities. Sometimes within 1 mile, you've got about 10 masjids, mashallah. Now, the thing is, we have got the masajid, we have got this wealthy, heritage that is in front of us. However, we need to be slightly concerned with the new generation, because the new generation they're not the people who grew up in the 70s, they're not the people who grew up in the 80s. These are people who grew up in a world with the internet. They have never seen a day without the internet in their lives. In fact, right now, the newest generation has never seen a world without social media. They've never seen that. They've never known what it is. I mean, smartphones, their life has entirely grown in among smartphones. If they go to someone's house, the first thing they ask for, forget water, forget anything else, forget food, forget drink, forget whatever. The first thing is, can I have the Wi-Fi password? True or not, guys? Yeah? If you take them to a place where there's no Wi-Fi, ya Allah, you just messed up. You messed up your whole holiday. Everything. There's no Wi-Fi. No Wi-Fi. No, they find it so difficult. And this is their world. Now we have to accept it. This is their world. This is the world they've been brought up into. You can sit with me and you can laugh, but that's their world. You got to look at what are the things that actually they're involved in. Because when we were young, I mean, if you look in the 80s, first the Commodore 64 came out, and if some of you are nodding your heads, I can see you. Then the Sega, came out, the Mega Drive and so on, and people had to, that was a massive revolution, but before that people had to put the little cassettes inside and wait for 3 minutes for one little game to be uploaded and only play for 1 minute and then re-upload again. Half the times it never even worked, okay? So that was a world. For these children, they're living in a world where simultaneously they're playing with 100 other kids of their age at one go. They've got the headsets, they're talking to someone live right now, maybe to about 4 other members in their team in a game, and the whole screen is moving with so much, advancement has been made in this technology. You've got to understand, this is their world. This is what they're growing up in. The reason why I'm saying this is this, that I want you to look at the world from their end. Because if you look at it from your end, it looks different. If you look at it from their end, it looks different. So you look at it from a child's end, okay? He's in a house, she's in a house where, most of these houses around here, you can't say that everyone's practicing. Okay, you can say, okay, even parents might be practicing, but not the children aren't all practicing. Now, in those households, what does the student see? The student gets up, or your student in the masjid gets up, or your child here in this community which you want to bring in the masjid, he gets up. She gets up, they go to school. When they go to school, what are they seeing in school? Look, today's school has changed from last 30 years. There are things that are being taught in school which my ancestors, your ancestors from all the way back in maybe 3,000, 4,000 years have never ever heard of. Those are the things that are being taught to them in school. In fact, they've been told, they've been encouraged, go ahead, do it, be who you want, do what you like, and so on and so forth. They've been encouraged daily. It's in their face. They can't move away from it. They can't move away from it. In fact, their friends, their culture at school, 6 hours a day, 5 days a week, 30 hours to 35 hours they've spent with them. Your maktab, your madrasa only spend with them 10 hours. 10 hours a week at best, sometimes 7.5 hours a week. So you're already 1/3 or 1/4 of the time down. Okay? But what do they see there? When they go to school, let's look at it from their point of view, from their eyes. They see happiness according to them. Of course, there's free mixing in these schools. They see, cheerful men and women most of them, who are some Muslims, some non-Muslim, teaching in these schools. They see, laughter. They see, children sort of sharing stuff. They see children with smartphones. They've probably got a smartphone themselves. They're exchanging all this stuff. Some of it's halal, some of it's haram, whatever. Some laughter, some banter, some joke. All the time they've got something. Hey, what's going on? This and that. All the time, find a joke, find a prank, find something to do. Right? Find what's the latest on. Even if it's not between themselves. Oh, did you see this? Did you hear this? This has happened. That has happened. Look, they're full. Whole 6 hours has gone with interaction. Okay, they've got lessons, get out the lessons, once that's all finished, they come home. As soon as they come home, most of these children, again, they've got technologies inside the house. They've got either the iPad, they've got the tablet, they've got the phone, they've got the TV, they've got something else, constantly running, or it's there, they've had some roti, they've eaten something, okay, now it's maktab time. And this is only for the children who are between 5 to 12, and the children, or 5 to 30, whenever they leave. If they stay for 16, alhamdulillah. But most maktabs, unfortunately, I don't know why, you get rid of them at 12. I don't understand why, because 12 is the age when you need them the most. That's when everything's bouncing up and down in their heads. That's when they're growing. That's when they're questioning. That's when they're becoming a man or becoming a woman. That's when they're really, fighting to get away from society, from rules and regulations, from parents, from teachers, from everyone. I want to be my own independent self. That's the time they need you the most. So don't allow children to finish at 12. I'll tell you one big reason why it happens. Is because we made this whole thing about Quran Khatam, and you have a massive, the Quran has finished at the age of 12 and everyone gets happy. There's a whole mitai session, everything given out. The happiest kid is the kid who's now finishes Khatam. He's not coming back to maktab. He's not coming back to the local maktab, to the madrasa. It's a very sad reality. What I propose, and I've been saying this up and down the country, please have an induction with your parents and tell them there is no such thing as a Quran Khatam. Your child will finish several Quran Khatam with us. We're going to separate Qira'ah from Tilawa. Qira'ah is what they read to the teacher. Tilawa is what they do at home. Once the child at the maktab knows how to read the Quran, you should allow them to read themselves at home and finish several Khatams at home. We do that at Safar Academy in London. Every year we have competition. Let's say over the 6-week holidays, over Ramadan. Can you finish at least one Quran? And our kids at 13, 14, 15, they've finished several khatams. They haven't left. So don't make that the target. That's one thing I want to say to you. Don't make that the target. Allow the students to stay. Anyway, from their world. He's seen what? He's seen, technology been buzzing around and so on. He's been to school and there's all, going from one lesson to another lesson. It's all it's all open and so on. You talk, you chat, you this, you that. Then he comes to maktab, okay, 2 hours, maktab gone. Now, whenever he comes to the masjid, because when he comes to your madrasa, he's not really part and parcel of the masjid. Okay? He comes for studying in the maktab, he's gone. Him coming in the masjid, I want you to understand, I want you to think for a while. Okay, that same child, once he goes home from the maktab in the evening, again, he's got maybe homework, he got other stuff, but then he's got entertainment, he sleeps again, he's had Wi-Fi, entertainment, technology, chats, talking all day. Okay? Entertainment, all day, all week. This has become the life of these kids. When we were young, the thing that you did for entertainment is you got a football, you went to the local car park and you played. You took a football out, you went to I remember in Camden Street over there, there's a little arena there. Children used to be packed out there, just taking football out there, playing. That's what we had. You couldn't stay home. There's no Wi-Fi, there's nothing binding you down, there's none of these games and so on. These came much, much later on. The only thing you did, you had physical sort of sports. I remember cricket, football, these are the main things, down in the streets. That's what you did. And you played outside, you played real time, and you went home. So that was a very different time. Look, guys, I want you to understand these kids are coming from a very different world. Now, when they come to the masjid, let's just get to this. When they come to the masjid, let's now look at it from your point of view. You, mashallah, alhamdulillah, you're 40 years old, you're 50 years old, you're 60 years old, mashallah, may Allah give you barakah in your life. Say Ameen. 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 Say a bit louder, man. Have mercy on everyone. I say Ameen. Come on. Guys, yeah? You don't want to, I'll start to finish off too quick, yeah? We're on our way out, but, not that quick, yeah? So then you're 40 years old, you're 50 years old, you're 60 years old. And now look, you're a mature man. You're in the masjid. You want everything, you want the masjid to be, a place where you come, you find peace, you find quietness, you pick up the Quran, you read it. And I understand that. It's wonderful. You come to the masjid, you want to find peace, you want to find tranquility. Fine, it's good. Right? Now all of a sudden we're in the masjid. Let's look at it from our point of view. From the point of view of the 40-year-olds, the 50-year-olds, the 60-year-olds. And then I'm going to look at it again from their point of view. So from your point of view, all of a sudden it's quiet. Suddenly you hear someone chatting at the back. Suddenly you hear, a youngster has come in the masjid and he's talking a little while we're waiting for the salah or, whatever it is. And then suddenly some uncle will get up. Hey, hey. Was it, look, I know he needs to be quiet, but can you address your attitude? What did Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab do when somebody talked in the masjid? Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab, he called the person over and he said, why are you talking? Now, he asked them, talk to them nicely. Why raise the voice? Why make them feel unwelcome? Now I want you to look, from your point of view, look, you want a masjid that is there. And I'll tell you one thing, right? Sometimes the elderly generation, they kind of feel a bit agitated when youngsters are around and, okay, they get fidgety. But were you not fidgety when you were young? They want to run around sometimes. I'm not saying to them that they should run around here. I'm not saying that. But let's just say one kid run in the masjid, a few kids run. Is that it? That's it. Put a ban for these children to come to the masjid. Because from your point of view, you're trying to keep the masjid thing. Now let's look at it from his point of view. His point of view is, look, once you've done that, once you've spoken to him like that, or that attitude, and the rest of the kids saw that, they said, oh, okay. Right? I thought, okay, I'll come here, but I don't feel that it's not a place for me. It's not a place for me to come regularly, enjoy it, want to come here. I want you to understand from their point of view what's going on in their heads. These kids, let's interpret what's in their minds. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not asking you to open the masjid and let them run around and scream and shout. I'm not saying that. So what should we do then? I tell you what we should do. You look around the masajid around you, in Walsall, in Birmingham. Can you make an assessment, where do you see regular youth going for local salahs? Where do you see that? Which masjid? I'm not going to take any names. I know there are masajid out there that regularly they attract the youth. In the evenings from Monday to Friday and Saturday, Sundays, they regularly attract the youth. And youth go from different masjids to that masjid. Okay? And they like to go for salah. They like to be there. They want to be inside. I've been in those masjids. And let me tell you the environment in those masjids. In those masjids, you have uncles as well. You have the 40-year-olds, you have the 50-year-olds, you have the 60-year-olds. They get on with the Quran tilawah. There's noise in the background. They tolerate it. And I'll tell you why you tolerate it. Why? Because there was, in the Ottoman Empire, they used to have this little plaque at the back of the masjid. There was a written thing on the wall. They had this written in all the Ottoman masjid. They said, and they wrote on the wall of the masjid, inside the masjid, when you stop hearing the cries of children in the back safs of your masjid, then get worried for the next generation. When you stop hearing, the cries of the children in salah in the back rows of the masjid, get worried for the next generation. Because they're not coming. When we see Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam leading the prayers, it's very clear. I mean, I don't understand why this, there's a whole thing about ban children under 7 from coming to the masjid. Ban them from under 7, don't even bring them to the masjid. When the hadith is very clear, when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to lead the salah, they used to hear the cries of babies in the background, sibyan or young children. And they used to hear that. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam he used to pray his salah quicker than his normal nafal and sunnah salah, slightly quicker, because he said that I'm catering for the da'if, for the weak people. I'm catering for the saqim, the one who's ill. I'm catering for the one who has to go back to work, and he's also catering for those crying children. Basically, they've got mothers who are in salahs, and he wants to finish his salah so that they can go back. They can take the children in their hands. This is a hadith. You can draw the map how you want. You can tell me Neji, Zamana tha, this and that. You can slice it how you want, that's fine. But you're not going to be able to delete this hadith out. You're not going to be able to do that. Most of our masajid are running according to India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. This is the truth. We are like if you go to masajid, why is it certain masjids have certain facilities, other masjids don't have other facilities? It's based on where you come from, back in India, back in Pakistan, back in Bangladesh. If you come from a part in Pakistan where they allow women to come in the masjid, you see those masjids in this country, they've allowed women facilities in the masjid. You come from a place in Pakistan where they don't allow women in the masjid, you find masjid in this country, on this earth, you'll find that they don't allow masjid facilities for women. You see straight up, it's based on the mentality of India, Pakistan, Bangladesh. And I want to tell you one thing. Look, I'm saying this, maybe you might not like what I'm saying. And you know what? I couldn't care less. Right? I couldn't care less because I'm trying to tell you the truth. You've got another 20 years of your life left. Maybe 30 years of your life left. May Allah give you barakah in your lives. But we're losing these children. Day by day, you look at the normal salah, you don't see the youngsters coming amongst us. You only see these little kids, these little ones that are here. Why? Because they're in maktab. It's so easy to bring them. Father says, hey, chalo, masjid mein jawana chai. Masjid, chalo. Right? He's just going to jumpa on, topi on, he's going to come. What are the age that we don't see here today? I'm just looking here. What's the age you don't see here? You're not seeing your teenagers here today. Very few teenagers in this masjid. Most of them are the young, clean, 8-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds that are here. Okay, the father just bought them. And the reason, you ask yourself the reason why. Because look, I tell you, let's go back to those masjids that you go in there. Look, their uncles are there. I'm talking about the masjid that attract the youth. Why are the youth coming to this is happening now, 2022. This is happening in your own town. This is happening in Birmingham. This is happening in London. This is happening in parts of, I've seen in Manchester. You go to Manchester, one masjid, barely any youth. Another masjid, youth are coming there. Ask yourself the question why. I've been traveling up and down the country. I've traveled from America to Australia, I've traveled. And I've seen the same thing happen over and over again. Which is what? What am I trying to say to you here? With all the technology, with all the bouncings on in their heads, these youth have got very little interest coming to a very quiet masjid, sitting there for an hour and, being part of it. Okay, they might read a bit of Quran, they might sit there, they might want to chat, they might want to do a bit of dhikr. Okay, they'll come for Jummah. Okay, come for Jummah, just come for the khutbah, do the salah, get out, that's it, finished, right? If there's a talk, they come. Sometimes, if there's a talk, they come. But regular salah, you don't find them. Now, the question is why? And the reason is this, look, those masjids that have attracted the youth, they've created alternatives for those youth to come to the masjid. They've got football tournaments and organized by the masjid, regular football tournaments with food. So the kids come, they know they're going to, and this every week, they're doing this every week. They've got like every week, once they've got a regular football tournament. Another one, every week they might have a basketball tournament. Every other week or maybe month, they'll have a weekend retreat. Their weekend retreat, where they come, they might go somewhere else. It's all organized by scouts. Now you have to employ people to do that. Please don't tell me you don't have the monies to employ these people. Don't tell me. Our masjids are mashallah, alhamdulillah, overfull with monies. Overfull. Don't turn around to me and say, nahi ji, hamara Jumma ka collection itna hota hai, itna ji. Last week, 506 pounds. This week, 504 pounds. We've gone down 2 pounds. Are you honestly? You've had an establishment of masjid for 40 years. This masjid, 40 years. I'm just many masjids, 40 years, 50 years, or 30 years at least the masjid. You had so much money, you've done all your extensions. You can't even do any more extensions. You've gone the furthest you can go, right? You've done all that. You've gone up as furthest. The council won't give you any more planning permission to go up. Yeah? So okay, you've done that. What do we do after that? Let's buy houses. Let's buy houses. So why? Because maybe one day the chanda's going to stop. Maybe one day the donation not going to come inside. Who in the world, tell me this guy, wallahi I'm telling you this in masjid there. Tell me one masjid in the UK that ever had to resell the land of the masjid because donation stopped. I want one person, uqsim billah, say with the, I'm swearing by Allah's name. Put your hand up and one masjid. They said we tried to get the masjid paid off, but chandas never came in. So we had to sell the land and give money back to people. Tell me one. Let me see one. Inshallah, you're never going to see that. We're not churches where we're only attracting them just for a Sunday service. We're a masjids 5 times a day. Not all other religions are jealous of us. You go to the Gurdwara, you see them on Saturday. You go to the church, you see them on Sundays. You go to the Jewish synagogue, you see them on Saturdays, right? You don't just see Muslims in the masjid on Friday. You see them 24/7. Yes or no, guys? Go and tell me. Say. And don't tell me money doesn't come in. We give so much money. They bought one property, they bought second property, they bought the third property. Then they're like, what do we do? Banks, I'm telling you, I know certain banks of masjid have got £500,000 in there. £500,000 there. When the imam's salary is still going to be £100. He should have done it for free. What is he doing? All he's doing his same salah he's going to do anyway, and he's getting paid for it. And we're paying for it. It hurts you. Do you realize I've been an imam for 3 years? I tell you how it is. Full time 3 years I was. Your whole day is stuck because of those salahs. I couldn't do, if I had to go for shopping, I had to plan, can I get to Sainsbury's and back with my shopping in time for the next salah? And I'm in Sainsbury's and I'm pushing the trolley faster and I'm trying to get it through the aisles and I'm trying to buy the stuff, and then I've got to carry that stuff, young imam, carry that stuff all the way for about 10 minutes, come to a masjid. I've come sweating back again, put the shopping straight into my room, close the door, get back in the musalla just about in time. You have to plan that. Not only that, you want to do evenings. You got families coming. You can't go to any functions. You're an imam. You don't realize what happens to an imam. Your whole day is with the masjid, fine, but you miss out on family, you miss out on so many other things. Not only that, you're living with 300 other families in this masjid who bring all your problems to you. Nobody sees that. You say, wo to kya kar raha hai? Wo to namaz padh raha hai, kuch nahi hai. Wo to usko padhna hai na. He needs to do it anyway, getting paid for it. So how much do you pay? Gino isko, aise gino. 300 families, 400 families are coming with all their problems one by one. I'm telling you, Maulana here, I can tell you right now, he will know so many of you have come to him privately, told you his problem. He's dealing with marriage, he's dealing with counseling, he's dealing with children, he's dealing with children that are on drugs. He's giving his private advice around the salah times. Nobody counts that, nobody sees his time. All imams are doing that. There's so much to do. Now look, you got £500,000 in the bank, you bought your 2 properties, right? Just stop for a while, you can't even expand. Let me give you a thing to do. With that money, you need, look, I'm not saying, again, let me make it clear, I don't want the committee members to leave. All committee members stay where you are. But you're only serving the 40-year-olds, the 50-year-olds, the 60-year-olds, because that's what your age is. You can't do any better. So what do? You stay in your position. Lalaji, I'm not telling you to leave, okay, Lalaji. Baijan, I'm not telling you to leave. Okay, Kaka, whatever I want to call you, right? Stay in your place. Your kursi is exactly where it is. No one's taking it. I'm not even asking for it to be given. No. Very simple thing. Make a subcommittee of young people. They need to be in their 20s. They need to be in their 30s. That's it.
You're in the 40s, 50s, 60s, you're the main committee, you have all the power. The subcommittee, you give them some powers. You give them powers of, and you have to give them a budget. You can't just leave them without a budget. They need to give you full accounting of all the monies. They'll have a separate account under the masjid. It's your account, your masjid's account. Put a budget in there, put 100,000 in there. Tell them, look, this is yours. This is the time frame. You need to now go, tell us what you're going to do. We want to see how you work with this. So what the young committee will do is this. They will employ professionally a person who does scouting.
Say.
25, 30K. Get him a person who's agile, who's passionate, who's in your community. They love doing this. They already go out to canoeing. They go out to this place, that place. You know, there's so many things you can do. Right? Rides here, there, blah, blah. They organize this. Okay, they'll take trips to some mountain, they'll give some nasiha over there, right? They'll organize your football tournaments, they'll organize this, that. They will do that. It'll only cost you 25, 30K, whatever it is. You pay him full time to do that. Now, with another one, you want to maybe employ, the same thing. Employ a young imam. Keep all your old imams that are there. The elderly imams are needed for the elderly generation. I'm not telling you to get rid of anyone. You've got the money for another younger imam. And that younger imam has to be passionate in his 20s, has a zeal. Because by the time you get to my age, by the time you get to Maulana's age, right, you know, we're getting into another, you know, we haven't got the time for all of this. We would love to do it. But we haven't got the time. We've been busy with so many other things. Maulana's probably got so many other duties. I've got so many duties in my local area. I won't be able to do this. You need a young person, passionate, who can do this. Now, what you do is, look, between them, a young Maulana, pay him, I don't know, whatever you pay him, 25, 30K as well, doesn't matter. Now, the rest of the 30K, whatever you got, buy facilities, reach, trips, whatever you can organize, get them in, spend it on food. You know, you can put your budget to 150 if you want, you can put your budget to 70 if you want, employ one person if you want. Just try it out, Bismillah, try it out. If 100K is too much for you, 50K, okay? But you're going to need to start somewhere. Just start somewhere for 1 year. And all you do is this, look, give that person the job, and give him proper job description, tell him to bring the youth inside the masjid, and you see what he does. He'll do wonders. The youth came inside this masjid before. They used to see these, giant 50 or 60, hey, this, that. Now they come to the masjid, they're shaking hands, right, with this guy. They're saying, this guy understands them. Look, they need that. They need someone to open up to. They need someone to relate to. They can't relate to a 70-year-old man who's looking at them like, what are you doing here? They get the feel, they know how they're being treated, how they're feeling. Now, okay, look, I'm not telling you 7-year-old to stop what you know. You do what you want to do. Let them do their job. Now, in those masjids I'm talking about where they attract the youth, you know what? There's a buzz there. You walk in, there's a buzz there. Teenagers are there, youngsters are there, 25-year-olds are there, 30-year-olds are there. Why are they there? Because between them, they've made their own groups. They've made youth clubs. You need to make youth clubs. Now, we're not taking them anywhere haram. And in those playing, in those footballs, and the back of the crickets, and back of the whatever you're going to do, the back of the tournaments you're going to do, you know what will happen? They're going to have halaqas. They need to have youth halaqas. I'll tell you one masjid in London that did this, and they attracted, subhanAllah, I went there. Last time I went, 50 to 60 teenagers. Teenagers, college, university students as well, in there. 50 to 60 of them coming every other week. I mean, they must have come in and out, but every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, they're attracted them. How? That same masjid, none of the youth used to come before. How? Again, same thing. Young imam, who relate to them, and you had a person who, they didn't pay for the scout person, but he was there to organize, a lot of sports activities. Anyway, look, this is what happened. They did this one thing, and I think this will work in any masjid. They said, they arranged for, first thing is food. You're going to have some, now give them their food. They want pizzas, they want chicken and chips. They might be a little bit unhealthy, but you know what? They want to eat. You just, for a little while, just give it to them, okay? Let them be attracted to that. And make sure it's nice. Make sure it's not like dried pieces, come so cold and rock hard that the kids say, my local Dixie does better than this. Give them nice hot food on time. Now, when they come in, this is what they did. They had one big circle in the masjid after Isha. All musallis have gone, right? Young imam sits with them and he says, open questions, whatever you want to ask. They're asking about anything. They're asking about drugs out there. They're asking about girlfriends. They're asking about relationships. They're asking about fitna out there. They're asking about anything. They're asking about Dajjal. They're asking about, they've seen TikTok videos of someone saying Imam Mahdi is alive or something. They're asking about that. They even brought me in for two of these sessions. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. Because where do we have a space for the age group of 12 to about 25, 35 to open up? Where is it, Tommy? The masjids that facilitate for that, you're going to attract them. Be that masjid that facilitates for them. You need that person sit with them. And not only that, you're going to make a relationship with them. That coordinator, young imam or the scouts person is going to make a one-to-one relationship with them. How you, man? How's your brother, man? This is the language they understand. They don't understand, beta, you okay? They don't like that. They're like, yeah, I'm okay. Finish. If you say, hey man, you alright? How's your brother? You alright, yeah? Chill. You just give a bit of that, they're yours. And the next minute they ask you a question, you relate to them. You don't tell them off. You don't say, how dare you ask a question like that? They might have doubts about God. They might have doubts about Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. They might have doubts about the deen, doubts about the Quran. This is the youth. Because the whole social media is full of it. It's full of doubts. Internet is giving doubts every single day. This is reality. Guys, you might say to me, well, why is he opening all of this? Well, I'll tell you what, this is reality. You've got to face it. This is not the 80s. This is not the 90s. This is not even the noughties or the after the year 2000. This is 2022 right now we're living in. And they've got a new world that has emerged. I mean, put it this way, yeah? 10 years time, if Facebook's Meta comes out and people have got this, device over their heads, where they're completely in a zoned out into a virtual world. I don't know what's going to happen. Before that world comes in, attract the youth. Attract them, bring them in. And when you bring them in, look, they need to come to the masjid, they need to feel welcome. Sometimes look, they'll make a bit of sound. Tell them nicely, but make a cheerful face. Tell them, son, look, masjid, with a smile on your face. You can tell the same kid who's made a bit of noise in the masjid, who's talked loud at the wrong time, okay, go up to him with a smile on your face. Son, after Salah you can talk outside. People need to pray right now. Don't disturb them. People are talking to Allah. Isn't that a nice way of telling telling your children in the masjid, your teenagers, your 25-year-olds, your 20-year-olds, whatever. Let them come in. Let them feel that, this is the place I want to be in. Now, during the week, you need to have several other things that attracts them. Honestly, if you got masjid money sitting in the bank, very simple that. You guys up north, you're laughing, man. You don't know what. In London, we can't find properties. Up north, you got loads of properties going. This little center, that little pub, that little thing. Every other week, they're going for sale. Now look, if the masjid had invested, and you need to have that in your plan, let's buy out another building for a youth center. Proper youth center. Let's spend £300,000, £400,000. Let's spend it for the youth center. Let's put tennis board, tables in there. Now, if you can't do it in youth center, you can do it in the masjid. But not in the main masjid hall. You can do upstairs. You can do some other place where the youth come in. It's very restricted time. It's between, let's say for example, your maktab ends at 7 o'clock. You can have youth time 7 to 9 o'clock. Nothing wrong with that. You have these folded tables. Many masjids up and down the country they've done this. Wherever they've done this, they've attracted the youth. So you have table tennis, folded table tennis boards. You have folded foosball tables, you have folded, those air hockey tables, so you can fold them up to the side so they don't, they stay out the way. Okay, but you do need a little bit of space to put them away. Now, yes, children are going to come in and they're going to break this stuff now and again. They're going to break a bat here, they're going to break a ball here, they might break the edge of a table here. But you know what? It happens. It's part and parcel of it. I'm sure you got enough. One single musalli will just donate an entire table again. It's very simple. There's nothing big deal about this. Now, if you can't do it, if you can actually buy a proper building for this, please do this. Because the future generation, we are losing like anything. I'll tell you one thing my Shaykh said. My Shaykh Mufti Rashid Rahman Al Farouq, he came from Bangladesh only once. He doesn't travel anywhere else except for Makkah, Medina usually. So they were forcing him for years to come over. He made one journey only. Came for 1 month. He said several times he could have come. He doesn't want to come. He says to himself that I can give dawah in many other places. Why should I travel to a country where they're just staying there for money? That's us, by the way, yeah? We're here for money. If you're telling me, no, I'm not here for money, bruv, don't try it. Okay? The weather's not suiting you in this country, all right? Right? If you had the choice of living in another country, you'd go to a sunny country. We all know that. You wouldn't be in this country. Anyway, he came in, you know what he said? He said a phrase and it stuck with me for about 10 odd years now. He did a whole thing about the whole of the UK. He went around the whole of the UK to many, many masajid. And he said, they've given you the masjids and the madrasas. They've given you that. Basically, they've given you permission to build masjids, to build madrasas. They've given you the masjids and madrasas. But like eagles and hawks, they've snatched away the minds of your children. Like eagles and hawks, they've snatched and seized away the minds of your children. What does that mean? Your child in your house is for you, is your son, he's perfectly well, he looks like you, talks like you, mashallah. The body is more or less like you. But the inside of him, there's a British mind inside there. Remember that. There's a whole entire British mind that's developed inside there. You have to question, is he really here with us, as in, with us full, or is his mind with another community out there? Because those youth, if you don't bring them in the masjid with all the facilities that we can supply for them, then you know what? They're already gone. They're not ours. The fear is this. Tell me this. 20 years time. Look, let's talk about 20 years before. 20 years ago, could you imagine 2002? Not even, I think the smartphones we have today, they never even came out. There's no social media. Internet just had come out. Can you imagine a world 20 years ago that today's world would have happened? If you were in 2002, those of you who were 2002, could you imagine that today would be in such a state where we can't even have a say of half the things they want to teach our children? Could you have imagined that, yes or no? You couldn't imagine it. It's a world, it's like wow, how quick did all that happen? 20 years from today, 2042, we might have a world where most of these kids, just like today, you go to someone's house, you see the kid sitting down on his chair in front of his PC or the screen or whatever, he's got his headset and he's playing with the joystick. Yeah, shoot, yeah. Imagine, right? 20 years, wallahi, this could be the truth. Imagine the kids are lying down in a state where they are, they've got a helmet and they've zoned out into a virtual world. They're in a world that they've got all this gear around their arms, their legs, and they're moving in there and they're feeling that they're really in another world. This stuff is already out. Guys, this is already out. All they're doing is modifying it so they can sell it to the mass. They can make mass production of this. Imagine all kids, when you go into this virtual world, it's completely different. It's crazy. It takes your whole mind away into another world. It's on another level. Imagine 20 years' time that is out there. How on earth are me and you going to attract the youth of that time to these buildings where we've got nothing except for Quran on shelves and we've got prayer mats here? How are you going to attract them? We've got a lot of work to do and times have changed. Guys, understand, times have changed. If we don't move along with the times, we're going to lose these youngsters. Already we're losing them. Those kids need to find, there's a phrase, subhanAllah, it's a wonderful phrase. They say that a masjid is not a club for the spiritually elite. So it's not a place for, the big musallis, mashallah, big beards, and, they've got their hats or the topis or they've got their pagris and the jubban. They're very, mashallah, on the deen. My brother's here for Fajr, he's here for Dhuhr. I know all of that. But then what happens is amongst these people who regularly come to the masjid, they're spiritually very high. They're the elite. It's not a club for them, but a masjid is a place for the people who are spiritually ill. There are a lot of broken hearts that come in the masjid. There are a lot of lost souls that come in the masjid. There are a lot of people come in the masjid. They've got lives out there that is completely ruined. The guy's probably ruined his relationship with his wife or with his children. The guy's probably got onto gambling, onto drugs. The guy's out there and he's ruined his future, he's ruined his present. Right? There are guys out there who've taken a loan, they don't know how to pay off their debts. And they come in the masjid, they're broken. Their minds are shattered. Their hearts need fixing. They've got no way of coming in and competing with the first saf. They didn't come for that. They came to be healed. They need our support. A masjid is not a place like a club for the spiritually elite, but it's a place where the spiritually ill have come to be healed. They need someone to, put out. They don't even know how to open up. I've seen these people. I've been an imam. Even now, I deliver the khutbahs. I don't do regular salat, but I deliver khutbahs. People come. They want to find someone, an imam, an uncle, someone who understands, someone they can sit down. They can open up. For some of these people to open up, it's going to take so much courage. They don't know where to start. Because they've probably done a crime out there. They don't know how to make amends. They don't know what's going to happen to them in the akhirah. They probably committed zina. They've done it so many times. They come to the masjid. They've sold so many haram stuff. They come to the masjid. They want to find healing. But all they find is people that don't want to really welcome them. Because the guy's haircut is not the right hairstyle. The guy's not wearing a jubbah. He's wearing jeans. My friend, what is wrong with me and you? The guy came in the masjid. He's wearing jeans. Maybe he's got, those tears in the jeans. What do you call those jeans where they got little cuts in the jeans? Anyone know what that's called?
Distress.
Sorry?
Distress jeans.
Distressed jeans. Is that what it's called? Wow. Guys, distress is wearing distressed jeans. Wow, I never knew that. Well, that's a name for it. They come in the masjid sometimes with those clothes. They don't know the etiquettes. Even if he knew the etiquettes, he doesn't have those clothes in his cupboard. Even if he had them in his cupboard, he feels a bit awkward wearing this stuff. Look, he needs healing. He doesn't need to be told, but mash, kenka, aise masjid mein aa gaya. I can see part of his aura. What is he doing? And you get so vexed. Oh, maybe he's got a hairstyle that is not according to the hairstyle of your Muslim standard hairstyle. So based on that, you're going to get angry with him. Based on that, you know what? Many madrasas are even throwing children out of the madrasa. What are you doing? I've got a simple solution for that, right? Honestly, that kid who's come with that kind of hairstyle, even if he comes to maktab with that hairstyle, does he need more guidance, or does the tablighi's child with the size 1 haircut, does he need more guidance? Which one? It's the kid with the hairstyle. He's probably got a broken family. And know where the broken family comes from. Mother and father are not talking to each other. Or father's left. It's a single mother. She's left with the children. She's renting a house. She's gone through so many years of struggle. How many tears have fallen during the day and during the night. Her husband dumped the family, left her on her own. And she's bringing these children up. She's got 3 boys and maybe 1 girl. And these boys are doing a heading. And she's in a small council place. And then she has to tell the children, just go out, because they're doing her heading. Those children find a life on the streets. They've got no fatherly figure in their family, in the household. And from those other boys in the streets, their life has been messed up. Either they got on drugs, they got on some other behavior, whatever went wrong with them. And these are the kids, one day they think to themselves, you know what, let me just go to the masjid. There's so much bad here, let me go to the masjid. They come to the masjid, and the way they treat it, that kid is not coming back to the masjid. Is that what we're supposed to have done with that one kid? His family is broken, it's not his fault, his dad's left him. He doesn't even know his identity. He's broken on the streets. He comes in the masjid looking for healing, and all we do is our policy of the masjid, our rules of the masjid. Yes, you got rules. But didn't Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam have rules? Was one of the rules, tell me this here. Forget talking in the masjid. Forget coming with those distressed jeans. Forget coming with a bad hairstyle. Imagine a man walks in here and he just urinates. Imagine a man walks in the masjid and he's like, zip down. Well, guess what? That's exactly what happened in Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's time. In front of the Prophet, alayhi salatu wasalam. In front of the Sahaba. Sahaba were ready to rush him. But how do you, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, mashallah, alhamdulillah, and subhanallah, so clever in his thinking. Now what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said? Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, let him finish. Let him finish. Stop. Let the guy finish. Why did the Prophet say, let him finish? Have you ever gone for a call of nature, it's gone, and you stop? Have you ever done that? Does it hurt or not? Go home and do it today. Number one, it's going to hurt you. Number two, if you're chasing the man, then it's going to be all over. So the Prophet would rather have you all in one place than to have you all over the masjid. Right? So, subhanAllah, so intelligent our Prophet, he said, let him finish. Third and the main thing is, the Prophet ﷺ understood, this is a Bedouin. He's come from outside, from the places where there's no civilization. This man doesn't know any etiquette. He doesn't know anything about that. He just came, he thought, okay, yeah, whatever, there's a wall here, so yeah, do it. But he didn't know place of worship. He didn't know anything about it. So behind in his civilization. When the man finished, the Prophet ﷺ went up to the man. All he said is, these places are not for such actions. That's it. Didn't scold him, didn't tell him off, didn't make him feel unwelcome. This is a man who peed in the masjid. Forget your hairstyle, forget your jeans, forget your clothes style, forget the beard thing, forget any of that. A man who urinated in the masjid, Rasulullah just told him, these are the places not for that. In a nice way. So the man felt like, okay, I haven't been told off. Then he told the Sahaba, bring a bucket of water. Because their time wasn't like us, carpet and stuff. They had sand on the ground, they had soil on the ground, and they had stones to mark the safat. He just pour buckets of water until that whole thing sort of dilutes. And then after that, the sun's going to obviously come out. It's going to dry the land. Okay, the Prophet told him to do that. But look at the reaction. Are we going to make these children, people who came to our... I've seen so many people walk inside the masjid. One of the things to do in the masjid is, unless you go out, let's just say, for example, mashallah, Allah's giving you hidayah. You've got a beard, you've been coming to masjid for 10 years, you've been reading the Quran, you're enjoying it, you're on the deen, okay? Now, that guy who's come in, first thing is you need to understand it. If you don't understand, if you don't look at it from their world, you'll never understand it. If you look from your world, it's going to look horrible. That's the biggest problem we've got. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam looking for the Bedouin, he looked at it from his world. He understood him straight away. He's a Bedouin. If I was a Bedouin, if I had no civilization, if I never understood anything, you just urinate, whatever you urinate is fine. And it's in a desert. The desert is sort of land. Just come and do it. But he understood the man from his side. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had tolerance. That wasn't a Sahabi that is regularly staying with Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That was just a man that just walked in. Okay, there's a difference. If if somebody who's been here 10 years in the masjid and, he knows all the etiquettes and he's the one who starts to run in the masjid or make disturbing noises, then we can say, what's happened here? I understand that. But people have come in, look, welcome them, make them feel welcome. Now let me tell you the next thing. When I was an imam, I remember one day, a 40-year-old musalli came in and we were both standing by the radiator. Sometimes you got these radiators inside, we're waiting for the clock to go exactly like 3 o'clock for Asr or something. I'm standing by the radiator looking at the clock. 40-year-old musalli comes, stands next to me and he goes, Imam, I got a question for you, Imam. I said, okay, what is your question? He says, Imam, I don't understand. These people who are outside there, they're not coming for the Asr Salah, they don't pray. They don't pray at all. They've heard the hadith. What will happen to them if they don't pray? They've heard all the hadith about Jahannam. They've heard the hadith about this, about that. They've heard all the hadith about the good benefits of praying Salah. They've heard all of that. But they don't pray. I don't understand how. Why? And I very easily was able to explain to you. I said to the 40-year-old man, got a beard, praying, comes regularly to masjid. I said, brother, how long have you been praying for? He said, I've been praying for 7 years now. Practicing Islam for 7 years, praying all the time for 7 years. I said, imagine I came to you 8 years ago 8 years ago I came to you and I said, brother, there's a hadith about this, hadith about Jannah if you pray, hadith about Jahannam if you don't pray, hadith about, the fadila, the encouragement hadith, and if you don't pray, you're going to get punished in the grave, you're going to go on the day of judgment. It's going to happen. If I told you all of that 8 years ago, what would you do? He said, I've heard you, but I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't pray. I said, well, there you go. Simple. There you go. It's a simple way of understanding the man outside there today who's not praying, because you were exactly like him 8 years ago. Now you're praying for 7 years. Don't you think that you've become something special? Now, what I want to say to you, bearded brothers and musallis and people who've come to the masjid for 10, 20 years, and you're regularly coming, look, when you see a newcomer to the masjid, number one is never go up to a guy who's come in the masjid after a long time and you go up to him and say, yo, what are you doing here, man? Never do that. La hawla wa la quwwata. He'll never come back. I've seen guys out on the streets. I've asked them, why don't you go to the masjid? You know what they tell me? That when I go to the masjid, they all look at me and they think, why have I come here for after so long? The guy's almost like he's committed a crime. He's coming back checkpoint. I've returned back to jail. I've returned back to prisoner number 271 was missing for 90 days and I've returned. What do you think this is? The guy's come back in the masjid, you haven't seen him for a long time. Don't ever go up to him and say, oh, what happened to you? Where was you? Don't take his interview. If anything, let him come again. And then after a while, no, just come and say, everything go right, yeah? Yeah, come for food. Look, just invite people for food. Just give him the treat. Get a connection. You want to change the youngster for who he is? First, let him open his inside doors and let you in. If you don't get inside his heart, if you're not welcomed, he's never gonna open up to you and he's never gonna listen to you. The way to give da'wah properly is to get inside the person's heart, and he's gonna allow you to get inside his heart. And that comes after time, my friend. You've got to spend time with these people. You've got to spend, you're going to have chats with them. Normal conversation. Okay, you're right. Yeah, fine. Yeah, I'll see you later. Oh, you go to this place on Saturday. Say, yeah, I'll see you over there. Oh, man, see you over there. What about, things like, after a while, everyone opens at different stages. Some people will open up to you after a month. Some people after 1 year. Some people after 6 months. One day he'll open up to you and say, things at home are not so good. What's the matter? Oh man, I don't know how to say it, yeah, but one of my brothers, he's a druggie. And police are always coming to our house and this and that, and I'm trying to keep my job together, but this now my brother's taking loans from people and I've got to pay it off. And there's so many stories out there. You just listen to them now. They need empathy, they need sympathy, they need to be understood, they need to be given a hand over the shoulder, they need to be given a way of getting out of the problems. At least, if you can't help them financially or can't help them, physically, at least make them feel comfortable with the deen. Say, look, we've got sabr, we've got tawakkul, we depend on Allah, this is our deen. Brother, it's a qadr of Allah. This Allah has, He put you to a test. These things, they comfort people. Don't physically do anything for them, but give him some mental sort of, relief. Is that not possible by anyone in this masjid? Possible by anyone, yes? Yes, come on, yes or no, guys?
Yes.
Have I been talking to people who haven't understood me for the last 50 minutes? That is possible. And if that's possible, look, make them come in, make them feel welcome. After a little while, you know what? After a little while, if they manage to stay in your companionship, and if they manage to like coming to the masjid, if you make them feel welcome, if they find a place to come and settle and enjoy. It's my peaceful time. I've met people like this. Trim beard guy. Trim beard. Maybe size 1 or size 2. I talked to him one day. And as we were talking, he said to me, I love going to that one masjid. I said, brother, why do you love going to that one? He's got 9 masjids to go. 9 masjids in his local area. He goes, I only go to this one masjid. I said, why? And I asked the brother, I said to him, what is going on? So he said to me, when I go to that masjid, I find peace. He said to me, and listen to what he's saying. And I've got so many stories I can share with you. I said, why do you find peace there? He said, I used to go to that masjid. I've got problems in my life. I said, what is your problem in your life? He said, my wife ended up having a relationship with another man. He was traveling up and down different countries, going across the world because his job told him to go to different countries. His wife was at home. Boom, boom, boom. Whatever happened, in the end, his wife has formed a relationship and he found out. And he had to confront his wife. He's got 2 kids. He doesn't want to leave the family. He doesn't want to divorce her. He's broken, shattered inside. He came to the masjid. You know what? He wanted to find peace. He wanted to just find something. So he came to the masjid. He came to a different masjid. When he came to that masjid, he found this, he could stay there. Another problem we've got sometimes is that masjids keep closing straight after salah. I give them some time for people to find the peace, rest, Quran, nafil, dhikr, whatever they want to do. Give them time. Anyway, he said he sat there time after time again. One day the imam, who was a young person, young imam of the masjid, came up to him and he said, "Brother, how are you? This and that. Come, join me for some food or something." And he said, "But brother, are you okay? Is everything okay?" Because the imam saw him in the masjid, staying there. When all musallis have gone, this guy just sitting there, just sitting facing the Qibla, just sitting down, just dwelling, just thinking. You know, you need to get a break from all that chaos that's going outside. Guys, trim beard, right? You look at him, jeans and so on, right? Sweatshirt, jeans, okay? That's all you see. Imam talked to him. He eventually opened up to the Imam. Imam made him feel welcome. Imam said, "You know what? This is your place. Come here anytime you want. Come anytime you want to sit, relax, reflect, do whatever you want." And that Musalli told me, that brother told me that I love going to that masjid because I find peace there. That's what people are looking for. You provide peace in a masjid, people will come. These youngsters, they want to be understood. You provide understanding. Remember I said to you, the halaqah thing, where you allow the children to say what they want to say. In the masjid, let them talk about their lives. Let them talk about the haram relationships in the masjid with an imam. If you don't open the doors for them to talk, they'll never bring it out. Let them talk about drug problems out there. Open up, let them feel comfortable talking about it. Don't make them feel bad that they opened up. Make them feel that, look, okay, I understand, right? Give them, let them talk and talk, let them bring it out. And then you understand, you relate to them. You say, okay, brother, try and do this, try and do that. May Allah help you, this and that. But you never judge them. If you ever judge a person who opens up to you, you'll never see them again. Never be judgmental, never make them feel, unwelcomed. And if they open up to you, you know what? They're yours now. That's how you get the youth to come to the masajid. And let them feel welcome. And let this place become their hub. Why should they make a club their hub? Why should they make the streets their hub? If you want them to make the masjid their hub, then you've got to be inviting. You've got to have facilities for them. You've got to have things for them. Okay, some of them want to play, let them play. Some of them want to find peace. Some 30-year-old wants to find peace. Let him find peace in the masjid. Some person needs to understand his deen. Have halaqas for every single stage. So, I know you have your tajweed classes for the elders. I know you have that. We need to have short, bite-sized Quran tafsir for everybody. Just for 10 minutes after salah. One hadith here after salah. Certain salah, one hadith. Imam just says one hadith after that. Everyone listens to it, goes. It's a reminder. Some little Quran tafsir here, some little something else over there. Then what do you have? You have to have youth sessions. These are not for your, look, a masjid should be like this. If you're catering for everyone, you have to have something for the youth, something for the children, something for the middle-aged. Tell me this here, where is marriage counseling in masjids? We can organize the seminars. We've got imams that are qualified for that. There's PowerPoint presentations available on the internet for marriage counseling. All right? Where are sessions for 30-year-olds to come in to actually understand? Not only that, look, I'll tell you what's even better than that. Where are the sessions before they get married to make sure that they got everything right to get married? Because you don't want to fix the marriage, you'd rather prevent the problem from coming. So where are those for the mid-aged people? Where are the facilities for people to, let's say for example, somebody wants to do, somebody wants to know how to do halal business. Where's the seminars for that in the masjid? Where's the seminars in the masjid for dealing with school? Problem with school? Masjid should give seminars to parents. Tell them, look, this is how you deal with the school. This is the local council. This is the governors of the school. This is how you do it. If you have if you lead, how you lead it? You can only lead it with someone who you've employed, who's on the job, who's been paid by the masjid. And guys, you've got the monies for this. Anyway, I've spoken for 1 whole hour. Jazakumullah khair. Wa akhir da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin.
اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم. يا حنان يا منان يا بديع السماوات والأرض يا ذا الجلال والإكرام يا حي يا قيوم برحمتك نستغيث. اللهم إنا نسألك من الخير كله عاجله وآجله ما علمنا منه وما لم نعلم ونعوذ بك من الشر كله عاجله وآجله ما علمنا منه وما لم نعلم ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. Oh Allah, we ask you to give us tawfiq and give us the ability to run our masjids and run our madrasas properly according to your Quran, according to Sunnah. Oh Allah, let us run them according to what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did in his time and according to what he would have wanted us to do in this time. Oh Allah, we ask you to give us guidance, we ask you to give us understanding, we ask you to give us all the facilities that we need to bring our youth to the masjid and to keep them connected to the masjid. Oh Allah, bring our elders to the masjid. Oh Allah, give us barakah in our lives, give us barakah in our health. Oh Allah, give us barakah and oh Allah, give us blessings in our dwellings and wherever we are. Oh Allah, wherever we work, and oh Allah, make it halal. Oh Allah, we ask you to give us a very sweet life in this world and a very good life, and in the next life give us a much, much better life where we see no fear, where we have no fear, where we have no regret, where we have no punishment, where all we see is your bliss, we see your rida, we see your pleasure, and all we see is the face and the countenance of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We see Jannah, Jannatul Firdaus. وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. آمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.